Hello to all my audience viewers. This vlog discusses how to reduce your carbon footprint. First, what is a carbon footprint? A carbon footprint is the amount of greenhouse gas emissions consisting primarily of carbon dioxide and other carbon compounds emitted due to the consumption of fossil fuels by a particular person or group. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, carbon emissions come from approximately 14% food, 17% home heating and cooling, 15% of other home energy usage, 26% from the stuff you buy, and 28% from transportation. Now, why is it important that we do our best to reduce our carbon footprint? An increase in greenhouse gas emissions, and therefore in our carbon footprint, is the primary event associated with climate change that has led to global warming. Our increase in carbon footprint is having profound effects on the environment, wildlife, human health, and even the economy. So, what can we do to make a change? The actions we can take to lessen our carbon footprint on a day-to-day basis can be broken into the following categories: travel, home energy, food, and other. The first category we are going to discuss is travel. One step you can take to reduce your carbon footprint while traveling is to simply minimize driving. Instead, try walking or biking. Set a goal for yourself to not drive anywhere within 2 miles of your location. I realize that this can be more difficult for people who live in rural settings compared to those who live in cities. This is simply because in a city, establishments are often located closer to one another, whereas in rural areas, businesses and houses are more widespread. So, when you do have to drive, go easy on the gas and brakes. Unnecessary speeding or rapid acceleration reduces your gas mileage, which in turn increases your carbon footprint. Some other tips to remember while driving are to regularly service your car, eliminate excessive weight, combine errands to make fewer trips, use cruise control to regulate your speed during long travels, and attempt to avoid traffic by using GPS device and traffic updates. Driving efficiently can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Next, try to fly less, or when you do, purchase carbon offsets. For those unfamiliar with carbon offsets, a carbon offset is a reduction of greenhouse gases made in order to compensate for emissions made elsewhere, usually in the form of money contributions to organizations focusing on sustainability. The next category we are going to discuss is home energy usage. To reduce your emission production at home, start by making sure your house is well insulated to reduce drafts and air leaks. To prevent this, use insulation and weather stripping on doors. This will help to regulate your thermostat during the hot and cold seasons. Now, speaking of thermostats, don't set your thermostat too high or too low. Try to keep it set on a neutral temperature so the heating and cooling isn't constantly kicking on. Another great invention to invest in, if you want to keep your carbon footprint small, are programmable models to turn off the system when you are not at home. Now, when purchasing appliances, make energy efficiency a primary consideration. Many brands these days offer energy efficient appliances, so just look for the Energy Star label. A next easy step to take while at home is to unplug unused electronics to minimize standby power consumption. I'm sure you're thinking, what is standby power? Standby power is the power consumed by an appliance or device when the device is not in use but is ready to be rapidly put into use. The last steps I can give you to reduce your carbon footprint while in the comfort of your own home is to watch the usage of water and lighting. Try to use less hot water, for it takes far more energy to heat the water than it would when using lukewarm or cold water. Now, I know it's hard to give up those hot, steamy showers, but you could start with making those changes elsewhere, like using cold or lukewarm water for laundry, dishes, and brushing your teeth. Then, if you still insist on super hot showers, try reducing your shower time to as minimal as possible. Another way to save water would be to turn off the faucet while brushing your teeth and washing your face every morning instead of letting the water run for no particular reason. So moving on to electricity, Always flip that switch when you leave a room. There is no point in lightening a room that's occupied by no one. Also, try switching from incandescent light bulbs to energy-saving LED bulbs, which are available at any of your local stores. All the previously mentioned will help in reducing your carbon footprint and save you money at the same time. The next category that I want to discuss is food consumption. One easy way to reduce your carbon footprint through food is by eating locally produced and organic foods. It has been estimated that 13% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions result from the production and transport of food. To add to eating locally, test out your green thumb and start a backyard garden. This will provide a great source of fruits and veggies that you can get right out of your backyard. Now, this next tip is something that we all can improve on. Avoid waste. Americans waste approximately 40% of the food that they buy. If you are dining in, plan your meals. Do not cook more than you will eat, and if you do, don't scrap your meals. Try freezing or refrigerating to eat at a later time. If you dine out, don't let the oversized portions of most restaurants make you a victim of a large carbon footprint. Ask for a to-go box and have leftovers tomorrow. 2 meals in one. What a deal! Now, the next contribution to sustainability is a little bit more difficult. And before I go into details about this change of diet isn't for everyone. The step I'm referring to is cutting out beef and dairy from your diet. It takes numerous resources to raise cattle, not to mention the acres upon acres needed for grazing. So much forest land has been demolished for agricultural use. Deforestation is a top contributor to carbon emissions and thus climate change. I've provided you with numerous steps that you can take to reduce your carbon footprint on a day-to-day basis, and that was just a tip of the iceberg. If you love our planet, try switching to living a more sustainable lifestyle, not only for yourself, but for future generations to come. Make the change. Thank you for listening to my vlog.